Yes, people. Welcome to Saeed TV. Welcome to the Best of the Rest show. We are back with another video. Big up to Boohoo Man for sponsoring the video. Make sure you go and get your Boohoo Man clothes. I'm wearing the active wear here. Make sure you go check out, people. Use the code Saeed in the description. You get 10% off. Big up to Boohoo Man for sponsoring the video. Big up to everybody who's locked in. Make sure, guys, as soon as you enter the building, you know what to do, man. Hit that like button. Let's get the likes up early, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the Mandem's channel. The link is in the description. Premsy TV, Carefree Lewis, and also Patrick when he joins us in the building. But Premsy, what are you telling me, bro? Everything all good? Top of the league, still looking down, everyone, man. It's mad in the dunya, isn't it?
Bro, I'm getting used to this lifestyle now. You know what I mean? I'm getting used to it. But now I've just got a little bit of a cold, people. So I do apologize if you hear me sniffling and having to blow my nose. But it's just been it's been a good start to the season, Saeed. I can't really ask for much more, to be honest with you, bro.
Big up, man. Big up to Lewis as well in the building. He got me fresh from his Milan trip. What are you telling me? Good?
Yeah, we've been winning a few games. Feels weird, but yeah, I'm happy. Nice run of games. We got you guys on the weekend as well. Looking forward to that. Might finally beat you guys in the league for once. Would be nice.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back.
Big up to you, man. Big up to you. And obviously, we got Patrick in the building. We got you tomorrow. So he's going to be talking about that as well. But Patrick, what are you telling me? You good?
Yeah, man. I'm all right, man. Life is good. Tottenham are winning. Still doing well. Yeah. Still on Arsenal's arse, isn't it, Fremsy? Before you pull away.
You're doing all right, man. You're doing all right. I give you some credit.
Yeah, so yeah, all good, man. I'm happy. Happy to be here. It's all good.
Absolutely. Let's get it cracking then. Title of the video is time for Arsenal fans to start believing the title. Where is it right now? Because obviously you guys keep on winning, you keep on grinding. What's the feeling amongst the Arsenal fan base at the minute? Because it's one of them. Is it like we don't, we'd rather just move in silence? Is it one of them vibes? Because that's always a normal trend when a team that isn't meant to be where they are, you know what I mean? They can't really show that much chest. They'd rather just say move in silence. Where's the Arsenal fan base? And obviously for you as well, where are you guys? What's your head at right now?
Do you know what, Saeed? We're in a good place right about now, innit? Like, for anyone to say that we're not, they're just chatting pure shit, innit? The bottom line of it is, against Leeds, we were under the cosh for pretty much most of that game, and we still managed to grind out the result. That's probably one of the shittest performances we've had all season, but we got the 3 points. I get what you mean by moving in silence, because with Arsenal, we do have a tendency to normally fall off at the back end of the season. Obviously, I do understand it's a new regime, different crop of players, new manager and whatnot. So that time will tell. But I think most Arsenal fans are using their head and they're looking at the direction of Man City and just looking at the animal that they are. And realistically, is it about getting your hopes up too early when you're only 10 games gone? I don't think it is. I think we just got to enjoy the moment as it is right now. Just keep looking at ourselves, focusing on the next game to come and just pushing forward, bro. And then if we come back from the World Cup and we're at the top of the table and we start to put another good form of a run together, then I think you'll start seeing everyone pushing their chest out a lot more, because it'll give a lot more belief. But as it stands, bro, got to give a lot of credit to the manager, got to give a lot of credit to the boys, and also you've got to give a massive credit to the fan base as well. As we've seen, the Ashburton Army, they've lit it up at the Emirates in recent times. And I think that connectivity between the whole club right now, including the fan base, is just second to none. I don't think there's probably a better connection in the Premier League right about now. So I'm just trying to take it game by game, bro. I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself. Don't get me wrong. I am buzzing that we're 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League, because I did not expect it at all, bro.
Facts, man. Lewis, man, these men are doing their thing. You get me? Did you think they would fall off by now, Lewis? Be honest. Like, did you think they would fall off by now? Is it because this Leeds game pissed me off? Because I was watching a game, right? I come outside the ground. First of all, there was a power cut. I was like, yo, I was getting gas, thinking, yeah, my little delay for Arsenal. You never know now. Could this halt their kind of progress? Then the game kicked off. Then after the game, because obviously our game finished before you guys, then I realized they've got a penalty leads, and then it got overturned, and then it was like, man. But they're not going away. What are you thinking with Arsenal right now at the minute?
I thought Liverpool would have been the bigger test. Like, the fact that they were able to go and get a result in that game, I would have expected them to beat Leeds, even though I still thought going away would be a little bit of a test for them. It's not the same magnitude as Liverpool. But for right now, like I kind of expect Arsenal to still stay in this position. To me, like I'm sticking with the belief that until Arsenal are in this position in January or February, I'm not considering them as title contenders because they don't have the experience for it right now. They're playing well. Again, you can't take that away from them. I'm not going to try to. Arteta's doing a great job, and so are the players as well. But I still think it's way too early to talk about title contenders. We'll see how they fare at the bridge. I know we're playing each other in a few weeks. That might be a setback. I'm not going to say it will be because I still need to see what Chelsea are like when we face you guys. I think that's going to be our first serious test then. But as of right now, they're just doing well. Like, be happy. There's a good vibe around the Emirates and everything like that. I don't see them as title contenders, though. I just think, if anything, Liverpool have shown that they're not dead yet. But it's a long season. It's a long season. I don't know if Arsenal have the consistency for it just yet.
You know what, Patrick? Do you reckon? Obviously, everyone keeps talking about Arsenal, but Tottenham are doing well. Is it because Arsenal and the kind of fortune, or well, not fortune that they've had in the past 2 years? Is that why it's kind of people are more kind of like, wow, man, these guys are actually doing well. Like, you've got to give them credit for where they've been, 8th, 5th, and then all of a sudden now it's a title, push at the minute. Right now they're showing title form, if I should say. You know what I mean? Is that why it looks a bit more kind of like surprising? Everyone's kind of like, wow, man, Arsenal are doing their thing, really.
You know what? If I take my Tottenham hat off and I just look at it as a fan, as a football fan, and I look at where Arsenal have come from, 8th, then they hired Arteta, who's obviously ex-Arsenal, and he's a likable, he was a captain. The fans liked him. Then they finished 8th again. Some fans wanted him in, some fans didn't. They stuck by him. Then they finished 5th. And obviously in between that, you've had the All or Nothing series that came out, and that really helped people understand Arteta. And even as a Spurs fan, I watched it and I was like, wow, this guy's actually got a bit about him. So even just watching it, even though I hate Arsenal fucking to the T, I hate them. But even watching, I was like, you know what? Arteta's kind of like, he's got something about him. And you saw obviously him make decisions about Aubameyang. You saw him look after the youngsters, kind of how obviously they were, they had the whole fan base was with them, and then they got to the end of the season and obviously they fell away, but it was still a positive story. So you're seeing that, and then you're seeing how they've started the season this year. Of course, everyone's going to be with them. So, I've seen Tottenham fans lose it in the last couple of weeks. Like, why is everyone giving Arsenal credit? What's going on? I'm like, so what? Like, for me, I honestly don't care. Let Arsenal get all the plaudits. Let Arsenal get all the praise, because at the same time, with all of that praise and plaudits comes pressure. And if Arsenal start losing 1 or 2 games, the same people that, what the media's like, they build you up to bring you down. So as soon as Arsenal lose 1 or 2 games, it will be, what's happened? Are the wheels coming off? Can this young team cope? And that kind of...
You got mentality then? Do you reckon you've got more kind of in there, more, the kind of mentality more than Arsenal? Is that where you think they might crumble?
I don't know. I don't know if because to be fair, we haven't seen this team in a title race, so I don't know. I know that from the back end of last season, when it mattered and Tottenham and Arsenal were neck and neck for 4th, we definitely had the edge on them, and obviously we finished 4th, they finished 5th. But being in a title race and having all the eyes on you from all around the world, it's a different pressure. And so far, credit to Arsenal, they are doing well. You probably argue that they've probably been the best team all around, if you look at it, as opposed to performances and results. So for me, I'm just like, fuck it. Let them have the credit. They deserve it. For me, as a Tottenham fan, I'm still happy with where we're at. I would rather us go under the radar and continue to do our thing. And then we just see where we're at after like 20 games, 25 games. And then you just take it from there. But for now, cool. Let them have it, man. I don't really understand why so many people are salty. I mean, when I'm on all these streams and I talk and when I say stuff that is negative against Arsenal, people say, oh, he's salty, he's this. I'm actually not. I'm saying you guys have it and enjoy it. But when I get on, I'm just honest, innit? Leeds wasn't a good performance. You didn't deserve to get anything out of it. You did. Is that the signs of a champion? Is that your luck? Are things we'll see, innit? But yeah, so far, so good. And like I keep saying, I'm happy to let Tottenham go under the radar. And we just, we're stealthing. We're
too many things under the radar. When's someone going to have
Yeah, I love it. Give us all the fucking hate. Wish all the bad on us, bro. Because at the end of the day, yeah, sometimes that can galvanize motherfuckers. You know what I'm trying to say. And let me tell you something now, yeah. You can see Lewis. You can see Lewis, and Patrick sitting there, with faces like a slapped ass. That's because we're 4 points clear on top of the league. You get me? I understand. Listen, the one thing you need to understand as well, Patrick. You know what you need to understand as well, Patrick, from last season. When you talk about mentality and that, bro, your boys that have been in your team for years ain't won fuck all, mate. You get me? Some of these young boys here have won an FA Cup. So don't let me talk about mentality. The manager made a mistake in January by not bringing in reinforcement of a striker in order to cover for Aubameyang's goals, because best believe we do that, bro. We're only one game away from getting that top 4. So I think it went down to the wire. I don't think Tottenham's mentality is miles ahead of Arsenal. We brought in 2 Premier League winners. Now, for me, if we go in January and sign well, then you never know what can happen. Somebody mentioned in the comments, Leicester, Big Steve was on my channel as well yesterday, he mentioned the same thing. When Leicester won the title, nobody gave them a hope in hell to win the title. Does that make any sense? Now, with Arsenal, I hope it is, bro. I hope it is. You get me? I'm not sitting here as an Arsenal fan.
Is everybody dropped off that season? I don't see the same drop off this season.
Yeah, but right about now, we're 4 points clear at the top of the league, innit? Right about now, after 10. Yeah, but that's 10 games gone, innit? At what stage are you fans going to then say, right, okay, because it was a test against Tottenham, it was a test against Liverpool.
February.
Listen, one second.
Get through this whole fixture pile up now.
Let me finish off, yeah? So a lot of fans correct me if I'm wrong, it was a test after getting beat from Old Trafford, or they're going to collapse, let's see what happens. Am I wrong? No. When they play against Tottenham, Conte now, this ain't no Sancho team, this is Conte. It's a test. Came over.
Tottenham
no. Don't use man for chatting shit before the game, bro. Don't get it twisted, man. We're going to rerun the videos back. You get me? Rerun them back, chatting shit. That's why man done the dash the next fucking stream. You get me? Man sent George on the show. You didn't want to handle the heat. But look, I do hear what you're both saying. But what I'm trying to say is I'm just hearing a lot of negativity towards Arsenal, because if it was another team right now, I do believe people wouldn't be saying, they're going to fall off. We're going to have to wait and see. They'll give man due respect in it. Now, obviously, I'm going to give
lack of experience.
Yeah, but we've just brought in 2 Premier League winners. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that experience is coming up. It's not like we've got no experience. We've got Granit Xhaka in the team who's quite an old player.
The whole squad.
So, well, that's pretty funny, because them 2 players that have come into the squad have got us to the top of the table, more or less, bro. And the influence.
The squad.
Yeah,
it is. That's done.
No. If you listen, obviously, I guarantee you don't obviously watch all the Arsenal content and stuff like that, because you're a Chelsea fan. I don't expect you to do what Patrick does. You get me? I don't expect you to do that. You get me? However, every single player in that squad, has said exactly the same thing, and they all can't be wrong. They've said the mindset Zinchenko and Jesus has brought into this team has galvanized absolutely everybody. Now, if they're saying it, who are we to say you're wrong? Because they're living it, they're breathing it, and they're seeing it.
Fair enough if that's been the case for Arsenal right now, but this still doesn't change the fact that your team isn't experienced at this level of competition.
So, I agree.
I'm saying, if you lot go through this pile up before the World Cup and the next one straight afterwards, and by the end of that, you are still within touching distance of first place, or you are first place, fair enough. You're title contenders. I wouldn't say a single word from then. Until then, I don't know. I'm expecting a drop-off. I just don't know when. But you guys are still playing well, and I won't take that away from you in spite of it.
And who's the worst at drop-offs? I think Arsenal, when they have a drop-off,
it's a different team, though, man. Trust me, it's a different team.
Yeah.
Everyone can see
that
it
through a season first. Before
I've seen it for the best part of 10 games now. So, as an Arsenal fan who watch my team and follow my team home and away and see what time it is with them, I can clearly see there's a total different. First of all, a style of play.
To go from 5th to 1st.
I'm not saying it is, but what I'm trying to say is a user role judging the Arsenal teams that have fallen off in the past. Am I wrong? But what? And can I say that this Arsenal team that you're seeing now looks like a very different Arsenal team, doesn't it?
Yeah, but like if we go back to Leicester,
so
it's the same thing. And Leicester, it took ages for people to believe.
What I'm saying is your expectation of our team to fall is due to what you've seen in the past, which I don't doubt it, and I don't say that. Even myself, I got the doubts. Yeah, but it depends what we do in January as well. We have added Premier League winners to this team
which is why I'm waiting till then.
But this team, right from the get-go, has looked a very different team. And not just in the Premier League, in Europe as well. You get me? Like, we
I
more or
don't
less
think
won all our
anyone's
games there.
denying that. No one's denying that. I was saying, do you have the experience to do this for 38 games? And we don't know.
No, 100%.
Until
I
you
agree
go
with
through
that.
those
I do
highlight
agree with
periods,
that.
Cool. If you're still within touching distance of first, then no one can say a word about Arsenal after that point, because you've gone through 2 massive pile-ups and you've come out of it and you're still within touching distance. Until then, no, I can't.
As a fan, I've got doubts myself because I know the squad depth isn't there just yet. And if you was to put it into that context, I'll understand it a lot more, because right now, apart from the Leeds game, we haven't really seen a performance of Arsenal that's been really dreadful. Even when we lost against United, for me, we were the better team on the day, and it was unlucky that we lost that game. However, the squad depth is a massive worry. That's why I keep touching on, if we do go into January and recruit well, because for me, if a Thomas Partey gets injured and a Jesus gets injured or a Saka gets injured, we are going to have some problems, and that's clear to see. However, if we can go into January, recruit well, obviously, Martin Odegaard's not going to be at the World Cup. A lot of Arsenal players are not going to be at the World Cup. A lot of them that are going to be at the World Cup are not really going to be evolved as first team starters. So hopefully, fingers crossed, nobody gets injured. You get me? So I do agree, after January, we will have a bit of a better idea. I'm not saying that at all. As a fan, I've got my own doubts. But when it comes to the grit, the determination, and the way the boys are playing, I haven't really got a doubt just yet, because they haven't made me doubt. Maybe that Leeds game, yeah.
But as an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't blame you. Like, there's no reason for you guys to have any sorts of doubt right now. You're not showing any worrying signs. You're playing convincing football. You're dominating teams. Like, it's more than fair enough. We're talking not 10. We're talking about 38. That's what I'm saying. Until you lot get past January, I can't believe Arsenal are in the title race. I just leave that
right now. Right now, they're doing well. Right now, there's this feeling of certain players not being good enough for Arsenal. You know what I mean? Gabriel, I still think he did play well against Leeds, and I'm going to give him
People
that.
are just chatting shit about Gabriel, man. The guy's
I still think he's a bit of a liability.
There is an error here and there with him.
Bro, who hasn't got an error in him, though? Who hasn't got an error in him, bro?
No, but if we're talking about the best defenders, like, there's very few and
no one's come out there. Not one Arsenal fan has come out there and said Gabriel's one of the best defenders in the world. We still know he's got time to progress. He's still young. He's 24 years of age. You've just seen a lot of imperfections, because William Saliba is looking like a world-class centre-back.
But even before William Saliba, do you not think Premsy? Remember looking at the...
All right, let me talk about it. Last season, bro, he was our best defender last season. You get me?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
He even scored more goals than any centre-back in the league last season. So there's a lot to his game. The thing is with Gabriel, he's an aggressive player. When you're an aggressive player and you go on the front foot, it's likely for mistakes to happen. It's likely to give fouls away. How many times have people said Arsenal got a soft underbelly? They need to have somebody in there with grit. You get me? Now we've got it because we're playing well. People just want to jump on the bandwagon and put a man down. Fuck all that. I'm not having it, man.
No, you got to back your players. I like that.
I think it's more of a question about his timing then, because I understand the thing with aggressive centre-backs and they put themselves into that sort of position. But I use Rudiger as an example. He was very rash in that regard too, but towards the last year and a half, he got his timing and everything.
Yeah, how old is Rudiger though, bro? He's got a bit more experience under his belt, hasn't he?
It was around 27, 28. How
exactly. My man's just turned 24, you get me? So it's one of them situations.
Okay, so he's maturing a bit then. Fair enough.
You got to give him time. Just because he's 24 and people are seeing, oh, he might be a little bit older than a Saka or a Martinet. Bro, the guy's still a young centre-back. And what he's
looks about.
And what he's come in and done at Arsenal, bro, I'm telling you now, I watch my team. I've seen man like fucking Squalacci at the back, you get me? And this guy, is a good centre-back, you get me? Man just trying to put too much pressure on him and say this, that, because there's not really much you can complain about with Arsenal right now.
This comment here.
Anyone's fast to jump on it.
This comment here, Gabriel deserves to be dropped, makes mistakes every game, is responsible for conceding goals, not being good enough. That's on agenda. He's been.
But guess what? It hasn't cost us absolutely fuck all, has it? Has it? Exactly. So that's what it matters. Nope. At the end of the day, I don't mind us getting
is that a good thought process to have, though?
Well, at the moment, with 4 points clear on the top of the league, so there's two centre-backs out here, keeping clean sheets on a regs.
If your title challenges, you can't have that mentality. You need to be like, do you know what I mean?
But listen, if you let me finish off quickly, what I was saying is I didn't mind us getting another left-sided centre-back for them to both to switch with, because I don't think Rob Holding's going to be good enough. I don't mind that. But just to say Gabriel needs to be dropped like that, bro, it's fucking ridiculous for me. I'm telling you now for a fact. Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Get
I think
me?
we'll find out. I think ultimately his game, we'll see. Obviously, the more it gets towards the feeling of United getting a title, sorry, Arsenal getting a title.
Hey,
No, listen. The more it gets to that feeling, the more I think you might feel a bit fucking hell. We need to get some of this mistakes out, these errors. But listen, Arsenal are doing well. They're doing good, and fair play to them. Let's move over to Chelsea and Potter Ball. Mason Mount. Let's talk about Mason Mount because there's a big debate on Mason Mount, and I think you probably know one of your guys is probably the biggest Mason Mount.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know how you deal with that
Let
guy.
me just say, is that Nuno guy in the chat there? Yeah, chatting Pierre shit. Yeah, I bet the guy's not even a fucking Arsenal fan. He's never probably watched us play. Yeah, and if you're gonna chat some shit, yeah, just DM me in it and we'll deal with it afterwards, you little pussy. Because I don't run them games. You get me, man? Ain't no keyboard warrior out here, fam. Tell you now.
Yeah, no. Honestly, man, guys, let's be respectful in the chat as well, people. But no, listen, I get the likes up as well. Nearly 400 of you in the chat. I don't know if we've got 100 likes yet, so get them likes up, people. Come on. What's I going to say? Yeah, Mason Mount. People, let us know in the chat what you think of Mason Mount. But it's one of them. I'm not really kind of hating on Mason Mount. I just feel like sometimes his performances get brushed under the carpet. He doesn't get the same level of criticism as some of the players. He's almost like the chosen child. He's almost that kind of guy where you can't criticize him. And if you do, you know what I mean? They're all coming at you. Where are you on Mason Mount? Does he deserve a new contract for you?
I think with Mount, he was just going to get a contract sooner or later. I didn't want him to get it when he was playing poorly because I don't see why you'd reward poor performances with a bumper 100 and 150k a week extension. Doesn't make sense. He's playing well since Potter's come in. Well, let's say since Potter's come in more the last few games. And like he's popping up more with open play assists and finishes. It's the creativity that I've been asking for him that he's been massively lacking in for the first 7-8 games of the season. He's playing well. I think he's gonna get the contract in general, but he just has to keep the form up right now because his performances did go under the radar last season. Like I never really spoke too much about Mason Mount's bad games because he was still the best attacker that we had. He'd still pop up with a goal and an assist here or there. He'd still be playing better than the other two that would be playing up front because you saw how much of a mess our attack was last season. So he fell under the radar, but the start of this season, he wasn't getting goals and assists. We were playing terribly, and he was consistently starting despite being one of the worst players on the pitch. So he was getting all the criticism at that point, and I think it was deserved. But he's playing well now. Chelsea's playing well. I think we've won 5 on the bounce. I will say we didn't play well in the first half against Aston Villa. Thank God for Kepa. He finally turned up and we got tested. And I think he passed his test well. But yeah, 5-5. We got you guys next week. I feel in better confidence for the rest of the squad. But it's this fixture pile-up that's really going to test us. And it's going to test all of us. But that's going to be where we see the strength of our entire squad in general. Because we've got Brentford on Wednesday, very tough game away from home. They've got a decent home record, very physical side. And we're going to have to rotate a lot because we've got you guys 2 days straight afterwards. So all depends on how the next few games are. But I think we've been playing well.
Yeah, man. What do you reckon there, Patrick? Money Mace, does he deserve more credit? Where are you in terms of Mace? In terms of Mason Mount, he does go. Is he another purple patch player? You know, Mason. He has a few good moments, and then he goes away, and he kind of. I don't know. What do you reckon? Because is he consistent for you to warrant the praise he does, or does he do it in kind of moments?
I think he's a good player. I've always liked him. There's always been something about him that I've liked. Even though he's Chelsea, I do like him as a player. If you're talking about consistency, he's not there yet. And that's what will take him from a good player to a very, very good player, is the consistency, doing it week in and week out. Because, like, for example, on the weekend, that free kick was top draw. And he's been putting in, like Carefree's been saying, he's been putting in good performances recently. But then he'll just go quiet and he'll go like 10 games and not do anything. And to be a good player, you need to have more moments in games than just coasting, literally. And it's almost like he's the chosen son, the teacher's pet. Under Lampard, he could do no wrong and he would never get subbed off and he would never get dropped or rotated even when he wasn't performing well. And it kind of seems to be the same under Tuchel. But to his credit, he's popped up in big games and decided games and done stuff in Champions League semi-finals and quarterfinals, and in big games he's made the difference. So I do like him. I'd like to see more of that Chelsea, the good side of Chelsea for England, because he doesn't seem to do much in an England shirt. But yeah, he's a good player, man. And to be fair, how old is he, Lewis?
23.
There you go. He's still young, man. So yeah, it makes sense to reward him with a new contract. He's definitely going to be around Chelsea for a long time. I wouldn't say he probably is that definition of a purple patch player, a good player when he's on form, but when he's not, fuck me, he stinks up the place and he doesn't do anything.
This is what it is.
It needs to be a bit more balanced, isn't it? So I say that again.
No, I was saying the problem is player stands, because Mason Mount could really just be like a young player that we could just let grow and develop, and we just don't give him unrealistic expectations and everything like that. But then you've got people who either just heavily slander Mason Mount, then you've got people who hype up Mason Mount like he's going to be the next Lampard or the next Modric, and it's like, let him be Mount. If he wanted to be Lampard, he'd take the number 8. He didn't. He took the number 19 because he wants to be his own player. He isn't like Lampard. Like, he's a completely different sort of midfielder. Just let the guy develop. Like, his numbers, to be fair, consistently go up season by season. They're nowhere near world-class levels, but I don't really need to push for that at that age. I just want you to be consistent and show growth, and I'm seeing that. It's just, we're going to overhype him and act like he's the best player in our squad when he isn't. He isn't.
So
he's important, but he ain't the best.
Bring out that comment from Tetter's Galaxy Brain. That's actually quite funny.
Which comment here? Oh, this one.
The next one down. Yeah, Mount is a Cobham son, purple patch merchant.
He's. Well, you know what? You're better suited as well with Graham Potter, because he's a very good coach as well. And if anyone's going to be able to coach a young player and get the best out of him, like we've seen time and time again at Brighton, players coming through and getting the absolute best out of him, Graham Potter is probably best suited to do that. And to be fair, the way Chelsea are playing football in recent times, they've been playing good football. And that's a big part of it's down to Potter, because they had Tuchel there as well. And for me, I think the football's a lot better now. And with Mason Mount, he's still young. You got to give him time. And maybe under Potter, he can bring a more of a consistent Mount out there, to be fair.
Go on, Lewis.
No, I was just going to say we look a lot more direct under Potter. I think we look more threatening. We're smarter in terms of our game management as well. I love Tuchel, but the one thing about him that I've realized with the first 2 weeks of Potter is that we were very safe under him. And it's part of the reason why we're very slow in possession and we barely made enough clear-cut chances per game. And we're making more of them. And I'm seeing improvements in like most of our players. Like 9/10 of them are basically improving. So we can already see a desired effect.
I think, like I said, it's one of them. The only situation that's probably not happened is Sterling's form has a little bit kind of gone off the boil, hasn't it? He played almost like a right wing backish kind of role, didn't he? But
I think it's because Reece James was injured. He just had
that's what I'm trying to say. How are you going to adapt to that? Because it's a big blow, you know. I like Reece James. I think for me, he's probably England's best right back. I think he's probably the best right back in, I think, the league. When you actually deep it, let's be honest, who's a better right back than Reece James in the league? I know Liverpool fans will say Trent. I think it's Reece James. What do you is that going to be a big blow? How are you going to fit that in? Because you tried to fit in Cucurella and Chilwell on that side, and obviously Reeves Sterling on that side. How is this going to affect the dynamic of the team?
Every time we lose Reece James, it's a car crash, because the most of our creativity comes from him. Like I don't think rival fans deep how vital Reece James is to the way that we play. He would have been player of the season for Chelsea without a shadow of a doubt if he just stayed more fit. But the reason why he didn't was because we kept rushing him back because we relied so heavily on him. I don't know how we're going to properly replace him. I don't ever want to see Sterling at right wing back again, personally, because we rely on him too much going forward. And it's just the wrong position for him. Like, even if we're going to play him on the right side, at least play him further forward. Never again. We could put Ruben Loftus-Cheek there, but it kind of messes up with our midfield depth. Other than that, I don't think there's any other options. We could do Aspi, but I think it'd be a car crash putting him out of wing back. He ain't got the legs for it anymore. And after 30 minutes, we're just going to get battered on our left-hand side. So I don't know. We're going to suffer regardless. If you take one look at the Aston Villa game, it wasn't easy. Until the subs came on, it was a struggle. And we were only able to see it out at that point. And both goals were handed to us, if we're going to be real about it.
Connection problem going on.
Yeah, the first goal was literally a Mings header straight to Mount in space. The second one, good free kick from Mount, but the goalkeeping positioning wasn't great either. So for our first game without Reece James, it was a little bit concerning. But we're making more chances across the pitch now, which is the biggest difference between us and Tuchel. Before it was literally only from Reece James. Now because we're more direct, we're making more chances centrally. I'm seeing more from Mount, Gallagher. We might be able to survive on that front, but it's a massive loss.
You know, it's Patrick. What do you reckon in terms of Chelsea's ambitions? Again, I think I was talking to Matisse. You know what I mean? It's one of them with Chelsea fans. They're in this top 4 race, I think, for me. Whether they'll have their bit of moments and whatnot, but they're going under the radar as well. There's a lot of teams going under the radar. It's how many can go on the radar at once. Like, you know what I mean? We can't all be under the radar. You know what I mean? Tottenham are trying to do their thing. Chelsea don't want to do it under new manager. One team, along with whoever it is, Man United, whoever, are going to have that period where it's going to not look great. Chelsea, are they in a good position for you, Potter, or whatnot? Like, are they, because they're only, 4 points behind? Is it Man City? How many points are you behind Man City? Lewis, or is it 4 points behind with a game in hand?
Are we 4 points behind City?
Yeah, I think so. Is it 4 points behind?
Yeah. I think we could be level on points with City if we win. Let me have a quick look.
Yeah, I'm checking now. But yeah, Chelsea have played a game less than everyone.
4 points. No.
And they're still in the top 4. So they are doing well. And like you said, they've gone under the radar. You got to be real. They've looked good under, they've had a new manager. They had a lot of turmoil in at the back end of last season. In the summer. Tuchel was there, then he wasn't. They brought in Potter, and they're still in the top 4. So you got to give them credit. That's actually quite mad when you think about it. But also, they do have a really good squad. They spent a lot of money. They have some good players in that team and in that squad. So yeah, right now they are going under the radar. It's funny because Chelsea fans don't care about going under the radar. Chelsea are a team that consistently win things. They've won Champions Leagues. They won the league. So for them, their mentality will be different. Yes, this manager. The big question will be, can Potter do it over the course of the 38 games? Can Potter continue? Because Graham Potter is a fantastic manager, great developer of talent. He's a great coach, but his home form in the last 2 years, I think he won 5 last year, and then he won 6 home games the year before. Obviously at Chelsea, he's got to win regardless, home and away, no matter what happens. So you got to see how he develops and grows into the role as well, because he's stepping up just like the players are. So that will be quite interesting for me. But yeah, man, Chelsea are a good team. I'm not going to lie, I didn't have them in the top 4 at the beginning of the season. But because Liverpool have been so bad, even though Liverpool won, I'm still not sure about them. So maybe the top 4 stays as it is. But then Liverpool will definitely come. The thing about Liverpool is that they have the credentials and they've got the know-how to go on a run. They've done it time and time again. And obviously United is still in the mix as well. You can't write them off. So yeah,
it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's top 4 race.
It's difficult. Yeah, this top 4 race is definitely the top 6 teams are definitely going to be scrapping for 4 spots, and it's so hard to call. So hard.
Yeah, I think for me, like I said, it's interesting to see which 2 teams drop out massively. I can't lie to you. I'm not saying that we're not going to reach top 4, but I'm looking at the squad. I'm thinking it's going to be a huge struggle to get into that top 4, because I'm looking at it. We dropped points. Arsenal didn't drop points. Tottenham didn't drop points, and Chelsea didn't. There's one thing dropping points, but then there's also.
You played Newcastle, though. Newcastle, to be fair, every year you get a team that's knocking on.
I know Newcastle will be that team.
Newcastle are that team, man, 100%.
They'll take points off a lot of people. Newcastle, definitely. They're going to give trouble to everyone. And to be fair, the way that they're set up and the way they play as well, it's quite difficult to break them down. Yeah. And they've recruited well. Like the players they've recruited have fitted their system quite good, and they're moving quietly and just doing the thing. Before they played Jews, they scored 9 goals in 2 games. So they've also got goals in the system. So with United, I think you're going to know a bit more after the next 2 games. After you play Tottenham and you play Chelsea, it's going to be
massive test.
It's going to be a big test, but also
because you guys' depth is a madness right now, isn't it?
But just to touch on it, also recruitment's massive for United in January, because your midfield is just shocking. I think you need to definitely need to get another player to partner with Casemiro. And if it was me personally right now, I'd put Eriksen in the 10 and put McTominay with Casemiro, because I don't think Fred's good enough. And I
Even
think
Bruno,
it's going to be a long season, man. Bruno needs to get dropped, in my opinion. Don't think he's good enough.
100%.
United have got players. They got midfielders. They've even got Donny van der Beek. So they've got the talent, but it's just
He's out injured. He's out injured.
It's a bit crazy.
It's, you know what it is? It's again, like I said, I think for us, we want to be slow. We want to be like, we want to be patient under the manager. But there is that feeling of, if you don't get top 4, it's going to be difficult to recruit. And also players are going to be looking over the shoulder thinking, bloody hell, no Champions League football over there. You can't attract the best players in the world. Yes, you've got Casemiro and whatnot, but I'll be lying if I said money wasn't a factor as well. You know what I mean? For coming to this football club, because it was. He was getting big wages. And he's done whatever he's done. You know what I mean? The motivation to win, is it still there? I'm not sure, but he's come here and he's challenged himself. Fair play. I respect that. It's come to us. I love that. But at the same time, Champions League football is almost like, we could do it for the Europa League route, but then that's almost putting the eggs in one basket. You've got a better chance in the Premier League because it's 38 games a season. You can prepare for it a little bit better. But it's one of them. And this is the thing with United. What does it rely on, Lewis? Is it the fact that we don't have a recognised goal scorer? What is it for you that's stopping, or you think United just won't get that top 4? Is it the depth? Because we've only scored 13 goals this season, can you believe it?
It's the depth, and it's also the change in philosophy. Like, I think United, like, you guys have done well this season, but I expect you to go through ups and downs, and I think the downs will probably be really hard for you, especially in your first season. Like, I go back to Sarri for us, for example. Like, we were unbeaten until November, and we went straight from being a counter-attacking team to a possession-based team. Soon as we lost our first game, it was a car crash until about March. And so something like that could happen to United as well. And with how tight this top 4 race is looking like, those little things could just be the difference. So I think it's going to be tight in general. I don't think you guys are going to have a bad season in spite of wherever you finish, because it's a long-term project. It's all about whether you can see improvements on the pitch or not. But yeah, I don't know if you guys would have it in you for a 38-game season just yet. If you did, it says a lot about Ten Hag and the squad. But I don't.
You know what it is? You're right, and I think for me, part of me, I want to have that chest. I want to be like, we're making top 4. I did have that a little bit at the start of the season. But when you go through a season, Premsy, and you start to understand your squad, and you start to think, we haven't got the depth. And when you have to evaluate other teams. You have to look at other teams' strength. I'm looking at Tottenham. They grinded it out. Like, I was looking at everything thinking, bloody hell, Alana, come on. Then I see Gray. I was like, flipping hell, take your chance, man. And then when I seen them, I was like, yeah, 1-0, game's over. When I looked at Chelsea when I got the first goal, I was like, they're not conceding. I don't know if the quality in terms of Aston Villa used to be a stronger away day. I don't know if them kind of teams are not putting up a front, or our teams now, you have to win your games at home, and United didn't do that. Where's your assessment on United in terms of, should they just be realistic about, what? It's not a big L if you don't get top 4. Where are you in terms of expectation about United?
Do you know what? If I was a United fan, which fucking thank God I'm not, I'm telling you now, if you were close to that top 4, I wouldn't be too alarmed with it being Ten Hag's first season, him not getting all the players that he wants in just yet. It's going to take a few windows for him to get in the type of players he wants that are going to fit his system. If you can come close to it and you miss off, I won't be pulling my hair out at all if I was a United fan, because like you said, Tottenham, people keep saying Tottenham playing boring football, but they keep grinding out the results. When is that going to stop? It's not stopping right now. They're getting the results. And not only that, they actually look a little bit more expansive in recent games. Chelsea, Potter's come in. You can see that they're playing much better football. They've got a lift as well. Whether that's a new manager bounce, we're going to have to wait and see. But the other teams around now, Liverpool beating Man City, that could flip their season on its head. Sometimes a victory like that, it can change stuff for you. And like Patrick said, they can go on a run, 10, 15 games, winning, not even unbeaten, just winning straight up. So I think we have to let the season pan out a little bit further. Just like Lewis is saying, when it gets to around late December, January, you're going to start be able to see how it's really falling into place, which teams are going clear of other teams, if so. But it's one of them right now, bro. You just got to be patient, bro. I wasn't patient with Arteta. Everyone knew where I stood. And look, now it's coming back and he's proving man wrong in certain senses. I'm not saying that he's going to 100% win us the league or win us the Europa League, but there's massive signs of progression than what it has been over recent years. And I think not just Arsenal fans and it's pretty much everyone can see it right now. So you just got to grin and bear it. Within this season, you are going to get results like the Newcastle game or stuff like that. You just got to just take it with a pinch of salt, bro, and recruit well. United need to recruit well, man. They fucked up time and time again during transfer windows, signing bad players. They need to eradicate that out the game. Get a director of footballing, a proper footballing man, and look at rejigging the whole thing top to bottom. Keep your manager in place, but everything behind the scenes, you can clearly see there needs to be work done. So until that gets done, I won't be going ballistic, me.
Absolutely. Talking about go on.
Sorry, I think you're being a bit harsh on yourself about the Newcastle result. You know, Newcastle conceded the least amount of goals in the league.
I know, but we're at home though, Patrick. In a top 4 race, you can't
a good team, man. They're a good
I know. Bro. Maybe it's me.
So I think you're being a bit too. You got to. I know you see the name Newcastle and you expect to win, especially, but they're a good team. Trust me, they're going to take a lot of points off teams. They slyly are hoping that they get in that top 6. They got big ambitions. Yeah, of course you want to win that game, but I think you're going a bit too far. They're a good team.
They are. I think for me, it's one of them. Maybe I'm just thinking about, when you, if it was away from home, I would be like, you know what, a draw's not a bad result. At home, you'd like to think that you could use your advantage. And talking about advantage, we've got you guys tomorrow. Are you going, by the way? Are you there tomorrow, the game?
Nah. Oh, yeah, of course I am. Yeah, it's a home game. No, it's an away game, isn't it?
That's away game, yeah.
I'm not going, man. Unfortunately, I couldn't bag a ticket. It's hard to get away tickets to games.
Bro, tell me about it, man. It's flipping ridiculous.
So yeah.
This season is hard to get a home ticket for us, and never mind away, bro. It's got madness this season, I swear.
Crazy, isn't
it? We haven't had hard work.
Why did United, by the way, take away all them tickets? What happened? Like, is it because I heard about some weird rule about the it's Saturday and it's a nightlife and police couldn't. It's weird that, isn't it? They tried to take away allocation from United, but that's a whole other conversation anyway. But Tottenham are in town tomorrow. We've got a good record here, but I feel like for me, I'm not that confident because I looked at the Newcastle game and I think they had a little bit of a low block. Listen, Mr. Ultimate low block, pragmatic style, but it works. No disrespect. I like Conte. I think he's a top manager. I wanted him at Old Trafford before Ragnick came in. What are you thinking, bro? What are you thinking tomorrow-wise? Are you confident?
I can't lie. I'm a bit worried about this fixture, and it's not even because of I'm not looking at the United team like I'm scared of them, but also at the same time I kind of am, because every time we go to Old Trafford, apart from the 6-1, which was just a madness, because that was under Jose, and it was like a freak result. But usually, we get beat there, man. So, even last year I went there full of confidence, and we ended up getting smashed. 3-1? Obviously, we beat us 3-0. We beat us. So, and last year we should have won that game as well, and we didn't. And I don't know. It seems we seem to have we had a bit of a mental block at Stamford Bridge. I know we kind of got out of there. I don't know how we did with a 2-2. This season, I'm just hoping. Listen. I'll take a 0-0. I'll take a 1-1. I'll take anything as long as we get a result. For me, that's a good performance. They always say win your home games and at least get a draw in your away games against the big teams. Because there's a lot of Spurs fans. I've been on loads of streams and they're really confident and we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that. But I always get jitters when I go to Old Trafford. I get PTSD because we've been here many times and we've always thought, we're ready. We're gonna do it.
Everyone has a bogey ground.
Exactly. And for some reason, no matter what form you're inside, we just go there and fucking shit the bed. So I'm a bit worried, man. Because realistically, I should be mad. Kane's in scintillating form. Son seems to be looking like he's coming back. We got players that Højbjerg's in the form of his life. We got good players, but for whatever reason, I'm worried. I can't lie.
I think it's one of them, innit? But who do you think needs a result more, Premsy? Arsenal or United in this game? Who do you think needs a result more? Just look at the game in isolation. Forget what the teams are. Even if you just look at the positions as well, who do you think needs the points more?
I think realistically, it's got to be United that need the points more than Tottenham because see they're further down the pecking order, aren't they? But I could just see a draw all over this game. I don't know why. I could just see it being a draw. Obviously, whether Tottenham can break you guys down, we're going to have to see that, whether you can break Tottenham down. Personally, like you said, you've got 13 goals this whole season, bro. So that's going to be a good one to see, really. But you never know. You got big games. You got man like Ronaldo there. Got man like Harry Kane. In moments, they could just pick up the ball and just pick out the top corner. So it's going to be interesting. personally, I just think it's going to be a draw. But if you're asking me who needs it more, I think United definitely do need it more, especially if they want to stay with the top 4 pack. Definitely, man. Because they're going away to play Chelsea as well, man, which is going to be a tough game, man.
Tough, man. We could be literally. I don't know how many points are you ahead of us now, Patrick, in terms of results.
I know we're level with City. We're 4 behind Arsenal. Let me just check.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. If we lose these next 2
7
games,
behind Spurs.
Yeah, 7. That's quite a big gap, man. But you have got a game in hand on us. You got a game in hand on us.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then that game in hand, it's still Crystal Palace away, so it's still not guaranteed 3 points. So, listen, I think for me, we need to get a result, whether it's positive in terms of a draw. I think, you know what I mean, you've got to look at us. But we have to look at the results beforehand. We beat we beat Arsenal, we beat Liverpool 2 big 6 games. Ten Hag has found an approach, and it's worked well. The only thing with that result was he had a different approach. We didn't have Anthony, and we didn't have Casemiro in there. Is that something that Ten Hag hasn't found out, that kind of winning chemistry? Because obviously it relies heavily on Eriksen. Eriksen is a doubt for this game. Martial is out. Ronaldo is up front. I mean, you're a big fan of Ronaldo, Lewis, but can he do it for you right now in terms of this team or what he wants to give us? Is it a situation of we're asking for too much from Ronaldo?
I don't know, because from what I've seen with Ronaldo, like, he just looks to have been on a major decline. I don't know if it's because of he didn't turn up for preseason with you guys, did he?
No, he didn't really do preseason until the last game at Real Vallecano.
Yeah,
that was
that's
it.
Probably
really.
a massive reason for it as well. So you never know. He might turn a corner towards Christmas time or second half of the season. But I don't know. If you're relying on Ronaldo solely, I don't even think he's at that level right now that you can do it. He looks like he's struggling. But your depth overall is rough. So I don't know. Is there a case you're going to be starting Ronaldo in both games, or you're going to save him for Chelsea?
It could be. I think Martial's not available at the minute. There's no sign of him. He's training apparently, but you just don't know whether you can throw him in the deep end, because we threw him in the deep end against Everton and he wasn't. You know, he got injured halfway through.
You'd play us on Saturday, and then you'd have the Europa League on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you could afford to throw Martial in at the Chelsea game and just have him run around for like 60 minutes or something.
Bro, he's right now. His body is really. We've got to really manage his body, and he's only 26, man. So it's like one of them situations where, and then you've got to play Ronaldo, who's 38, and it ain't easy, because you've got to realize his body can't cope. And one thing what I don't like about Spurs at the minute is that they play 3 at the back, and this game isn't going to help Ronaldo play 3 at the back, because you've got 3 defenders there that he has to chase the ball. You know, when they play out from the back, you need the wingers to press in, and you need everyone to kind of press in one motion. Ronaldo can't press from the front. It's probably the worst person to press from the front.
You say that, but last year in both games he killed us. He murdered us at White Hart Lane, and he killed us in the away.
You know what?
So,
without giving discredit, though, the first goal I don't think should have happened. Dyer should have came close. Okay, that's a freak one goal. I think the other two. I think Spurs were so. I just think that game was just a freak game. Ronaldo just turned up. I don't think Conte will play that kind of similar way. I don't think Tottenham will be that team. It'll be a different game. That game was a unique game. Yeah, I'm not discrediting Ronaldo, by the way. I think Ronaldo was unbelievable that game. But I just think that game was just wow. Yeah. I don't think it spans out again. You know what I mean?
Ronaldo was unbelievable that day, and Dyer was fucking atrocious. He was so bad that game. Literally, he gave Ronaldo the keys to, White Hart Lane and the keys to Old Trafford. And yeah, Dyer has got a lot better, but it's moments like this. You have to be switched on for 96, 95 minutes, not 84, not 85, because top players, regardless if Ronaldo's 38 or 42, you know that guy, if you give him a sniff, boom, it's a goal. So yeah, we just need to be turned on and switched on for the whole 94, 95 minutes. We can't give you can't give, even if United are in bad form, and you're not in bad form anyway, but even if you are in bad form, you've still got players at the top end of the pitch that can hurt us. Rashi can hurt us one-on-one. Ronaldo can. If Martial's fit, he can still turn up. So, and even Anthony, he's, I know he's not been as impressive as I would have liked to see him, like taking on a man, beating a man and this and that, but the guy can still finish. You give him a sniff again, he can curl it top bin.
Yeah.
We just need to respect you lot and just, stay switched on.
It's going to be interesting, man. Obviously, you guys are playing Brentford, Chelsea as well. That's going to be a tough game. We don't know what Ivan Toney's going to bring. But Chelsea, on a roll. They're doing their bit in terms of what they're doing. Brentford's going to be a key test, I think, for Arsenal. They can sit back this week and just let it all unfold because, you might not be able to play Arsenal.
They're not even playing in midweek, are they?
No, we're playing PSV, innit? Playing Europa League.
I'm saying
playing on Thursday.
No way they get a break this midweek as
City
well.
City got a proper break. They got a full week off in it. City. They're not.
I don't think they wanted that break. City. I was talking to my brothers yesterday. My little brothers are all City fans here, and they were like, "Oh, we didn't want to break, man. We want to play flipping Arsenal now."
Because I'm so glad we're not playing City now after they got beat by Liverpool.
Yeah, the
bounce
back.
The bounce back. They would have got absolutely packed in, mate. I'm telling you.
They would have been hungry.
Yo, it's never easy playing against City, man.
You know what I mean? So I think for me, it's one of them where Chelsea, Brentford. It's last year you got absolutely away with it. Mendy had an unbelievable game. Brentford are one of them. At home they're beating United, but Arsenal game they got absolutely outclassed, man. I don't know if they can raise it up.
That's been their only bad game at home, though. Like I saw it, they've won like 10. They've got 10 out of 15 points, an average of 2 goals per home game and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to be an easy game for us at all. We've got to rotate, and they're a very physical side. They absolutely spanked us the last time we played them. I think they won 4-1 at the Bridge. It's not going to be easy, especially after the way we played against Villa. That was not convincing for our first game without Reece James. So I don't know what it's going to be like because we also have to rotate. Like we can't play our strongest 11 in this game with United coming up and then Salzburg on Tuesday straight after that. It's too tight. Sure. So we're going to have to rotate. It might come back to bite us on the arse. We could still win. Could still get a cheeky 1-0 or 2-0 or something. Or maybe 3-2. Like, it'd be very surprising if they didn't score. But yeah, it'll be a tough match. I don't know what to make of it. But if we win, I'll be a lot more confident for the United game coming up.
Yeah. But it's tough. It's back-to-back games, isn't it, Prem? The season's really stepping up now. I don't know how many games are left now. Until
4 games left in it until
is it 4 games?
Break.
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, sure. Maybe it might be 3, but I'm sure it was 4. It's not that long really in it. So
we've got. So let me put my one. We've got 4-5. Yeah, we've got this game, then Chelsea, then West Ham, then I think it's Fulham. Yeah, so it's about 4 games. So
yeah. And plus 2 games are more or less getting played in a week as well. So it does feel a little bit sooner in it when you deep it. Because now games getting played midweek and then straight away on the weekend. So it's gonna be interesting as well. Because I feel like after the World Cup, there's gonna be a lot of money spent in January as well. I think it's gonna be very different to the Januaries that we've had over the previous years. Because when the World Cup normally tends to play out, everyone just wants to start snapping people up straight away, and it's gonna be perfect time for people to invest. And Newcastle are going to be a team to watch out as well for before we wrap it up as well, because they say that they don't spend this and that, but the bottom line of it, they are putting the money out there. They spent 70 million for Isaac, or maybe a little bit less. But for Newcastle to do that, it's mad, bro. For 14 years, they haven't really pulled out any money under Mike Ashley. So financial fair play, they're actually allowed to spend quite a bit of money. So I wouldn't be surprised if Newcastle strengthened very well in January as well.
You know how this show's called Best of the Rest, yeah? Like, is anyone else gonna compete for this top 6? That you think Newcastle's one of them? Anyone else around there? Do you think that would be like in around battling for top 6? Anyone can put a name out there? Brighton obviously had a good start. Yeah. They've lost a few games now and drawn a couple. What are you thinking?
Nah. Only Newcastle, in my opinion. I think Brighton are a good team, but over the course of 38 games, I don't think they've got enough. Where Newcastle, like you said, they're probably strengthening in January. Isaac being out for 2 months is a big blow to them, though. That's a big blow.
Is he out? Oh my god, man.
Yeah, Isaac's out.
The MVP, man. MVP, bro. Like, man, I was rooting for him, man. I genuinely was rooting for Isaac, man, but he's got a bad injury record, when you deep it,
Yeah, he does.
I would have said West Ham, but the start that they've had to the season, it's a contrast from last season, to be honest with you. So I'm not too sure about West Ham.
And they got Europe as well, which they were probably more focused on, because that is a more legitimate.
Man put Leicester.
Leicester are good out here, mate. You get me, like Leicester, not that team, man. You get me, like it's one of them. Conte's banking Ronaldo playing because he knows his legs are gone. I think it's one of them. Like, what we haven't got any other options. I think Martial's out injured. Eriksen will have to find out in terms of last minute, in terms of what he will be. You know what I mean? So it's one of them, man. Ivan Toney saying it. I think Chelsea are in a title race. Too many sleeping on them. Second best team in the league on paper. I think Chelsea's squad is.
I wish. I really wish. Let's go.
But I think their squad is very, very talented, though. I think your squad is so talented.
Yeah, you have got a good squad.
That midfield, though, is going to be a problem. I've been saying that all season. That midfield is not... for a title race, no chance. No chance.
It's the
if
way...
we even get close to it, Potter's a genius. I'd just be happy with top 4 this season. I really would.
Z Gold says here, are Spurs going to win a trophy this season, Patrick?
Yes. Clip it. Yeah. We're winning one of the domestic trophies. Yeah.
Come on, that's what we love to see. This one is Zakaria. Bloody hell, I'm kind of glad we didn't go for this guy because we were linked with him like 2 years ago. And bloody hell, he's not playing a game. What is it? Is it just not rated? What's going on with Zakaria?
He's unlucky, man. He's unlucky.
I don't know. He screamed panic buy because Tuchel didn't want a midfielder, and then we had a terrible run at the start of the season, and the board was like, "No, you need a midfielder. We're going to go and get a midfielder." There was no one on the market at such short notice. We tried to go for Alvarez. He wanted to join, but Ajax were like, no, it's literally deadline day. So we went and got Zakaria because he was out of favour at Juventus, and he just hasn't played since. Tuchel got sacked. Potter's not really focused too much on him, and I don't know where he gets a game because every Premier League game matters a lot right now. Until we're qualified as group winners, the Champions League is the same energy as well. So the only real game could be City away in the League Cup, and even then that just feels like a baptism by fire. So I don't know. He's just in a very sticky situation, but it's a long season. I'm sure he'll get some opportunities. I just don't know from where, but it is what it is. He ain't even our player. I can't focus too much on him.
Yeah.
He's just here. He's on holiday.
He's on holiday, man. He's just chilling, man.
Ticket, gets to watch the Chelsea. It's all good.
Oh, man. That's
funny. It's a weird signing. These kind of signings that sometimes you get with these loans. I don't know if you guys can remember any from your teams and that, but you just get them kind of loans. You're thinking, what was the point in that? Like, what do we?
Alex
Dennis Suarez and them, man.
Yeah.
Falcao.
Who was that, Lewis?
Kim Kallstrom. We got Falcao from you.
Yeah, Falcao. That was a dodgy one.
You know what I mean? Why we even looked his way when he failed at you guys? But that.
Do you know what? We actually had one loan guy. Yeah, he was actually decent for us. Yossi Benayoun. When he came,
he was actually. You lot beat us 5-3 at the bridge, and he was celebrating on Twitter when he was on loan at our club. Dickhead.
Yeah. I remember that. And also, this Lukaku situation is a bit of a mad one. He's not playing for Inter at the minute. Like, what's going on with this Lukaku situation? Like, it's a mad one, isn't it?
I ain't even been keeping an eye on that fucking prick. But apparently he's got injury issues. Hasn't been playing too much there as a result. I don't think they're going to send him back. There was meant to be a gentleman's agreement that they take him for a second year. If he comes back, there ain't no way he's making it into the squad. He's too arrogant to hold his hands up and apologize and all of that. So it's just a case of if Inter Milan don't want him, someone else will better take him because he ain't coming back to Chelsea. I don't think Potter's going to integrate him unless he would literally do an interview again and apologize to the Chelsea fans. That's the only way it would work. But I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I can't lie to you. It's just a it's a weird transfer. And obviously it depends on what, still have to pay that 100 million. What do they do? Like, you know what I mean? Right. The 100 million that we bought for him, right? Just scrap that deal. Like, it's weird one, isn't it? Because obviously Inter Milan agreed.
I think this year's loan was 32 million. And then I think they're paying a similar fee for the second year. And then I think they're just going to buy him on a very reduced fee or something like that. Either that or we're getting absolutely swiped. And as soon as he drops off in any sort of form, we're getting a washed 30-year-old Lukaku on 300k a week.
You might be able to turn it round like Granit Xhaka. You never know.
Well, I'm not sure about that one.
He has to suck up a lot of pride to do that. And I don't know if he can. So I don't know.
Yeah.
If he did, though, I won't say anything, but he'd bang. But he's fucked it.
Yeah, Lukaku was right about Tuchel's system. Well, I'm not sure. It's one of them. It just didn't work out in that kind of way. But listen, It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on with that Lukaku situation. But people, we're going to wrap up the show now. Over 500 of yous in the chat. Let's get the likes. Apparently, there's over 200 likes. Let's get up to 250, man. We can do that, man. Half of yous at least like the video, man. Come on, people. Best of the Rest show. We're always live, 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, unless otherwise. But make sure you tune in, man. It's a good show. We don't like to. We can have the odd occasion of banter, but we like to be respectful and whatnot and keep it level-headed. So big up to the community. Make sure you follow everyone. I'm going to let everybody introduce their channels. The links are in the description. Make sure you follow them. Don't just watch it. Follow them as well. And Premsy, let them know where they can find you, bro.
Premsy TV on YouTube. People, them nearly 4K subscribers. So help a brother out and get subscribing. And also Premsy_AFC on Instagram, people.
Big up, big up. Yeah, man. Come on. Always love, man. Always love. Let them know, Patrick, what you saying. Let them know. Obviously, you're doing YouTube content coming soon.
See the Hoiberg salute.
Come on.
You might see that tomorrow at Old Trafford. But nah, all good. Patrick Tyrant on Instagram and Twitter. Follow me. That way you can see what I'm up to. I'm on so many streams and people's podcasts. So it's going really well. My channel is called Patrick Tyrant on YouTube. My show is called Chatty Patty. I just started it, so yeah, by all means, check me out and give me a follow. That would really, or subscription, that would really help. And yeah, big up to everyone here, man. It's always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Come on, man. And obviously, Carefree Lewis doing big things as well. Chelsea rep. Come on, bro. Love her coming on.
Big up, big up. Check out Carefree Lewis G, Twitter, YouTube, all of that. Chelsea Fan TV as well. And yeah, safe for having me on. Big up.
Big up, people. Make sure you follow all the mandem. Leave a like on the video. Tomorrow, I'm at the game tomorrow. Tottenham versus Man United. So make sure for the match reaction. Hopefully a better vlog, man. Lewis, you know these vlogs, innit? I don't like to edit vlogs.
We're going to hear that high voice again tomorrow, Saeed.
Listen, if you know, you know, man. I just had to edit out.
Nah, you got to go straight on the edit. It's long.
That's it, man. Make sure, hopefully, there's a few goals in there. It's a good game. Make sure to check it out. Match reaction. And we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.